Yeah, welcome to ShareTreck. Good morning. Wall Street futures are up after stocks pulled back yesterday following a record-setting streak when Fed Chair Powell started warning about fairly high valuations, tempering risk appetite. And it had a cascading effect across the globe. Nasdaq futures led on renewed optimism around AI boosted by Alibaba. Alibaba had a 53 billion AI investment announcement, and Micron had an upbeat earnings announcement, which is again reflecting on NVDA's stock price pre-market. Boeing shares rose 2% after a big Dreamliner order, and Eli Lilly announced a 6.5 billion weight loss drug facility in Texas. Disney has also announced it's going to increase the streaming prices, and key concerns right now center on Friday's inflation data and potential government shutdown risks and ongoing impacts from tariffs and visa reforms affecting financials and tech. I'm going to talk about a new segment today because there is some juicy information out there. I can't guarantee I'll do this every day, but right now there are some 5 stocks that I'm looking really juicy for shorting. Of course, I am a retail investor, not a financial advisor. So these are all my personal opinions. Please do your own due diligence before you take any investment step. Talk to your financial advisor. I'm just going to go to the TradingView platform and start showing you those things. So here we are in the TradingView platform. First, let me show you the ones that I was thinking we need to pay attention to this morning. And I have them out here. The first one is SHFS. You can see that it's gone up 153 almost 152%. Earlier during the day, it was up almost 190%. Shares are surging after announcing a major financial restructuring deal, which seems to have boosted investor confidence in their turnaround plan. Now, I'm thinking that whenever you have a gain like 150% or 160%, humongous gain like this, there is always profit taking going on, and it can bring the price down very quickly. So that's where I see a trade idea. But again, this is my personal opinion, not investment advice. Be careful. The other one I am looking at is AQMS, which jumped around 49%. This is Aqua Metals, and the company is jumped because it reported strong preliminary results for its next generation battery recycling technology, sparking renewed interest in green tech stocks. Again, when you have a huge jump like this, there are people ready to take some profits and exit from the stock, especially if it has been languishing for a long time and has been going down for a long time. Next one to talk about is LAC, which happens to be Lithium Americas. It's up almost 73%, and when I wrote the script, it was up 67%. Shares jumped following news of a strategic partnership for lithium supply to major EV manufacturers, and that is aligning with electric vehicle demand that we see in the market. The next one up is Yoxin Technologies Limited, YAAS. It was up 58% when I wrote the script. Now it is up 79%. Positive guidance and improved outlook in the Chinese online auto marketplace drove the pre-market gains, in my opinion. But this is a very volatile stock. As you can see, the pricing out here, like somewhere on 30th of June, we touched a peak of $7, and now we are bouncing around the bottom. These are all very risky stocks, and when there's a gain like 70% or 80%, definitely there are people ready to take profit and push the price down and exit the position. And then we have XPON 360 or XPON. At the time of writing the script, it was up 36%. Now it is up around 37.88%. The company announced a significant order for lithium batteries used in recreational vehicles, leading to higher volume and price momentum. So personally, I think these are all potential candidates that profit taking may lead to retracing the stock price lower. So I would watch them for some short play, but they are very high risk, very, very high risk stocks. So I'm going to delete them from our charts out here so that even by mistake, we don't end up going anywhere near these stocks. And yeah, let's go on and have a look at the futures the way we do usually. We have We have our S&P 500 futures here. And in S&P 500 futures, what I'm seeing is there's a gain of around 15%, 0.15%. And that is kind of retracing yesterday's loss. So if you look at the day before we had gone up, and yesterday we canceled out all the gains we had the previous day. So today we want to see whether we are on a trend reversal, or are we going to consolidate and move up and create some kind of a bull flag out here. Support, I think, will remain somewhere around 6,660, and resistance could go all the way up to 6,861.25. And the biggest test will be our ability to get past 6,764. I think as far as market sentiment is concerned, it's absolutely bullish. MACD is also bullish, though trending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average in the overbought area, but it can go up further on the RSI because we have done that in the past. So anything can happen out there. NASDAQ is up 0.23%. Again, retracing yesterday's loss to a certain extent. Pre-market action is not always something that we can rely on. So I'll wait to see what happens when the market opens, because market sentiment is bullish, but MACD is tending towards the signal line to cross over to the bearish side. Momentum is above average. It's also overbought, but it can go up further. So either way, it can move. And therefore, I would like to wait and see what happens when the market opens. Dollar index is up, and it has been able to stay above the support line of 97.303. Despite dollar index going up, we have gold up 0.10%. I think gold is in a very critical area right now. The biggest test for gold, in my opinion, is going to be able to break through this parallel channel resistance at the top, which for today is at 3,791.685. In the past, yesterday, we tried to do that. We were pushed down, and then we were bounced up by this line of support. Today also we have seen the same action. It's a doji candle out here with equal size wicks on both sides. The bottom wick has already bounced off this diagonal line of support, and the top has not yet been pushed. So we have opportunity to go either upwards or downwards. I think given the fact that we are in a bullish context, and this looks like the end of a bull flag, I think we could probably go up further to reach the target of 3896.033. But then again, anything can happen in the market. So when we are close to these kind of resistances, I think that we have to pay attention and be careful. This is not a time to add more to the position of gold, but rather, if you already have a position of gold, to consider whether you want to take profits, book some partial profits, and wait for the price to drop down and then go back up again. Now, that said, put-call ratio is looking bullish to me, and Canadian 5-year bonds are still a little bit low, but they're starting to firm up, whereas European bonds are going down significantly. So there's a little bit of a reversal going on out here. And US 5-year bond is also up, but not as high as Canadian. So I think yesterday I spoke a little bit too soon and made some wrong conclusions. But we'll watch this as we go ahead, because there are future rate cuts also in store. So these should be trending lower. And then I'm looking at indicators. Let's go to S&P 500. For S&P 500 today, I think a resistance of 6,736 is in order, and a support of 6,665.39 is going to be in order. And then I'm looking at market sentiment, which is bullish. MACD is also bullish, though tending towards the signal line. And momentum has dropped, but it is very elevated, so it can turn around very easily. So right now, the chart is looking a little weak, and we saw in the pre-market action, there was a little bit of bullishness. So it's mixed signals out here. We'll watch and see what happens when the market opens. Likewise for NASDAQ as well. And QQQ indicates that we are going to open at least 0.22% up. So in pre-market, QQQ is up 0.22%. And I would say that the resistance for QQQ is going to be $608 today. And the support for QQQ is going to be 594.42 today. And I'm looking at the next chart, which is going to be in AI, NVDA. NVDA is up 0.39%. And this is a halo effect from Micron, saying that there is so much of demand for their connectivity chip for NVDA, the high bandwidth chip. So that's the reason why you see a little bit of positive on NVIDIA. And we also have the reverse head and shoulder pattern, which happens to be a bullish pattern. So I'm kind of anticipating NVIDIA is going to break out. I still am holding my NVIDIA shares on the Canadian side. So I'm thinking that we should look at whether we can breach this neckline out here. And if that happens, then I think we are going to be going up to a good extent. Because the reverse head and shoulder targets would click in. So right now I'm watching a resistance of 183.53 for today and a support of 173.64 for NVIDIA. Meta is up 0.26%, but we have support out here at 736.46. We had a reverse head and shoulder, but the bull flag that was being created is kind of compromised in my opinion, because this was the first bull flag. And the length of the bull flag would have taken us all the way up to the peak. So we met the target and then we came down. Now, while coming down, if I also assume this to be a flagpole and this to be a bull flag, I would say that the bull flag has been invalidated because we have fallen 50% below the flagpole length. And therefore, I think that I would watch this carefully. I wouldn't write down the reverse head and shoulder pattern yet, but I would consider support somewhere around 748.45 for today and a resistance somewhere around 786.92 for today. Google is up 0.01%. Google has had a phenomenal gain. This gap down needs to be filled up. And I think we'll have support for Google today, at the very least at 245.40. At the very best, we'll have a support somewhere around 249.92. Amazon is up 1.37%. It had fallen significantly in the last 3 days. It has smartly recovered 50% of the losses from yesterday. Even though the market sentiment is bearish and MACD is wildly bearish and momentum is pretty low, this morning seems to promise that there could be a little bit of movement upwards. Wells Fargo has upgraded its rating of Amazon to overweight and set a new price target of $280. And that could kind of give a little bit of momentum out here. And if you recollect, we had a reverse head and shoulder target of somewhere around 258.39, and we had been progressing towards that steadily with movements up and down. So I don't know if you're going to renew the movement towards that or not, but we have major hurdle out here. It's going to be at around 233.40, which is this diagonal line of resistance. And also our opening yesterday was at around 227.90. Can we probably move above that? That's another big question, because that will be the first resistance for us today for Amazon. Apple is up 0.12% in pre-market trades. Support, I think, is going to be somewhere around 248.45 because we have had a gap up out here. And resistance is going to be at around 257.40. Microsoft is up 0.27% in pre-market trades. Resistance remains at 515.39. And support is going to be at around $506. Tesla is up 0.64%. And it has given up a whole lot of gains. Could this be a topping tail that we were looking at? I mentioned that yesterday. And yesterday in the pre-market session, and yesterday's price action seems to show that that could be a good possibility that we have a trend reversal taking place out here. However, contrary to everything, we have got market sentiment which is bullish, and MACD is tending towards the signal line to cross over to the bearish side. Momentum is very elevated. It's overbought, but it's kind of giving up all the energy and coming down back into the civilized zone of below 70%. So I think Tesla has got a whole lot of momentum internally, and Mizuho has increased its price target for Tesla shares from 375 to 450. And that could also give a little bit of impetus to the shares today. But if overall market sentiment goes down, I think Tesla will also move in line with that. Oracle is down 0.20% in pre-market trades. And we have a very bullish market sentiment. MACD is tending towards the signal line, but there's plenty of room for it to go down. And then we have momentum, which had gone very close to the all-time high on the RSI scale and then turn around. And for the last I would say since 10th of September onwards, we have been staying within the 70% range, and we have seen some serious drop yesterday in momentum, but we are still above average. So I'm thinking that there is a little bit of weakness creeping into Oracle stock, and there is a gap up that needs to be filled up. Are we trying to fill up the gap? That's what my question is, and we'll watch the stock and see what happens going forward. AMD is up 0.70%. Again, whatever Micron said enabled NVDA and AMD to get a halo effect. The semiconductor sector has got a little bit of a boost. I don't think for AMD this boost is going to last because it was NVIDIA specific news. We'll see what happens when the market opens. But right now, I think 163.42 is going to be our first resistance today. And our support for today is going to be around, I would say, 158.21. SMCI is up 0.51% in pre-market trade, and I am seeing that we have a minor line of resistance at 47.50. Right now we are at 47.20. I think today for us the support could be around 45.38, and then it could be around 42.88. Broadcom is up 0.19%. It has got a support at 302.96. However, because we have had this huge gap up, we are going to have a support somewhere in the region of $333.51 for today. Palantir is up 0.47%, and we have support at 174.83. And yesterday, our trading range was very, very narrow with the long wicks on each side. And today we have managed to be above yesterday's opening as well as closing in the pre-market session. That's a very big positive. Our resistance for today is very strong, and it's going to be at 183.30. Convergence of a direct diagonal line of resistance and a horizontal line of resistance. And our market sentiment had just about got bullish. MACD is also wildly bullish, and momentum is above average and peaking up further. So there seems to be strong momentum for Palantir, and it could help it to reach 189.69 today. SMH Semiconductor ETF is up 0.11% in pre-market trades. It's all based on the Micron story, and it is a little bit fickle because the Micron story should not ideally apply to anyone more than Micron and NVIDIA. So I think the gains that are there might be given up at a later time when the market opens. Tempus AI is up 0.99%. It has not been able to crack the all-time highs that it had of 90.05. And today it has clawed back a little bit of losses from yesterday. I would say the support for us today is going to be at 84.03, and the resistance for us is going to be in the region of 90.05 for Tempus AI. Then I want to go and have a look at genomics. And we had looked at Prime yesterday once again, and I had said that we had a target of around 5.21, which is the bull flag target. And we have already met that target. So I'm going to discard this line from here. And I would like to remind you that we have a target of 7.24 based on the original bull flag, which has a flagpole which goes all the way up here. That same flagpole was removed and put on top of the flag at the point where it broke out. And that's what is giving us a target of 7.23. And this morning also we are up 1.86%. And I'm thinking that we are marching towards this target as far as Prime is concerned. Intelia is up 0.70 in pre-market trades, and it has gone above yesterday's closing. That's a very positive sign. We had a reverse head and shoulder pattern and a target of 14.75. That has been met. So I'm going to just discard all these artifacts from here so that we have a cleaner chart and we can see new patterns emerge. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to take these points out here and draw a line of resistance. And this line of resistance is taking us to a resistance of around 18.79. Now, if I was to pull the chart closer and then look at other potential resistances, then I think we would have a line of resistance somewhere out here. This would be another line of resistance that I could see, which can be taking us today at 18.51. So those are the resistance for today for Intelia. Then we have Caribou Biosciences, which has got no trades in pre-market session. Beam Therapeutics is up 0.29% in pre-market session. A bullish pennant is being formed out here, in my opinion. We need few more candles for it to get formed so that we can look at the shape and we can clearly discern the pennant shape, and then we can say that the probability for a breakout on the upside is higher than the probability of a breakout on the downside. But right now it can continue to move down and create a bear channel. So we have to watch out for that. Altimmune is flat in pre-market trades, and it still has a support somewhere around 3.37. And Editas is flat in pre-market trades following this diagonal line of support. And for today, the support is going to be at 2.76 and resistance is going to be at 3.20. Illumina is up 0.03%, still struggling below this diagonal line of resistance, which says that for today, our resistance is going to be around 103.00. And support will be around 95.50. CRISPR Therapeutics is up 0.10%. It is playing around with this diagonal line of support that we have out here. Yesterday, it was pushed up by this diagonal line of support. And today, it's below this diagonal line of support, which is at 60.91. And pre-market, we are at 60.82. I'll leave the line as it is and see if we open above that, and then we'll make a call on it. Next, we are looking at Allogene. Allogene is flat in pre-market trades. Grail is up 0.57 in pre-market trades, and we have support at around 45.52 today. PSCB is down 0.78 in pre-market trades, and support continues to be at 1.21. ARCG is up 0.33% in pre-market trades. Support is at 26.64. And then we have Vertex, which is down 0.58%. It continues moving down. We have a target of 370.96 for Vertex, and I think we are moving towards that target. And Ginkgo Bioworks is flat in pre-market trades, but yesterday it had moved up and it had gained 2.66%. So I'm looking forward to today's market action. I think it's going to be positive. And having said that, I would like to look at Precision. Precision is up 1.08% in pre-market trades, and there is no new news for Precision. And then I'm looking at Ultragenics. It's up 2.82% in pre-market trades, but still it has resistance at 29.52. Pre-market, we are at 29.20. So friends, that takes me to Rocket Mortgage. And Rocket Mortgage is, Rocket Companies is at around I would say 30.31% gain. And we had a cup and handle target for around 28.53. I'm thinking this is a bull flag in operation. So I'm going to hold out my hope that we are still marching towards our cup and handle target. But I want to see what happens in the market action today, whether we're going to start a new bear channel or if we have formed a bear flag and it could break out on the upside. Friends, that brings me to the currencies. In currencies, I'm looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has bounced off the diagonal line of support, which is the bottom of this parallel channel, and it has erased all the losses from yesterday. Bitcoin will go where the indices go. Indices are looking positive pre-market. Bitcoin is also looking positive pre-market. Therefore, the support for today is going to be 110.725. And then the resistance is going to be somewhere in the region of 115.312. Then I want to look at XRP. XRP has also gained. It has pushed off this diagonal line of support and the horizontal line of support, and it has pushed up in a big manner, 2.12% yesterday. So I'm thinking that it's continuing to move either along this horizontal line, which is going to be providing a support at 3.7657. If it breaks down from that, then we'll have this diagonal line of support, which will turn into a resistance, and it will move downwards, and we'll color it red, and then we'll see how we can track it on the way down. So that's what I have, my friends. And if you have any questions or something, I can respond to you, or else I'm ready to wind up the session and go have my breakfast and get ready for the day. Thanks for joining, and I'll catch up with you again in the next session tomorrow. Bye for now.